another edition of Get It Right. I'm Mike Hendren. Seated next to me is Terry McAdams, owner of Back Tech Solutions here in Wichita Falls, Texas. And we're recording this in his studio. And, of course, a longtime friend and broadcast partner, Trey Serrala, over there on the end. Hello, Trey.
Yeah, howdy, howdy.
So usually Trey's seated across from me.
I know it.
Not next to me.
Well, but it's kind of hard to do the audio that way. You can see one of the back of your head or the back of my head.
Yeah, well, yeah. So
the problem is that somebody might recognize us from jail. So.
That's true. That's true.
That was horrible. That was a bad joke.
Prison was horrible. I don't know. That thing down in Mexico,
Yeah,
it was a bad deal. I thought they were soldiers. I didn't know. Anyway, what the hell? I have no idea.
Don't take your gun down there.
Don't take your gun. Don't take any ammo. Don't even take a pocket knife. Good Lord, don't even take a pocket knife.
No, you can buy plenty of those down there.
You can.
They're all over the place. But, yeah, you're right. The gun thing, do not play around in Mexico with guns.
No.
Which is crazy, as lawless as Mexico is, that handguns are just you can't use them.
Well,
you can't have them.
And the difference in how you're treated when you go across the border from our side and versus the other way. We welcome you.
That's the damn truth.
Oh, wow.
Good God.
If you notice, I've analogued everybody up today.
Yeah, yes, you have.
I've dumbed everybody down.
Yes.
I
I know you still got the thing there, but
the thing of, I appreciate the fact that you do this. I know there's a lot of work that goes into this. Trey's a busy man. He's got a business to run. Yeah. He's got all these children to watch over, called employees. And so I
have great employees, by the way, just so you know.
I know.
For the record, I have great employees.
I'm just having a little fun.
Yeah,
I know you do. They're all great guys. At least three.
And gals. We have more women that work at Eddie Hill's Fun Cycles than I ever have.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's crazy.
I know you had a couple, but
Yeah, we actually at one time I hired 3 people. I believe it was last year, and the three hires in a row were women.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a change in the power sports business. There's more and more women getting into the power sports business, which I think is cool.
Yeah. Well, of course it's and right now, and Terry and I were talking about this earlier. The climate, the employment climate right now, the talent pool is not real deep right now. I saw a report yesterday. 4.4 million Americans exited the workforce this year.
What the hell are they doing?
That's what I want to know. Are they dealing drugs? What's up now? 4.4 million people. Now, I do know, all joking aside, a lot of entrepreneurs were created last year.
That's true.
Yeah.
Something like 800,000 new small businesses started. Now, mind you, a lot of those are going to fail. A lot of those are not going to work out, but a lot of them will. And so 4.4 million people exiting the workforce, I have to believe that some percentage of that 4.4 million have left the workforce to go to work for themselves.
That's true. Well, that is true, but not everybody can.
No.
There has to be some that just got out of the workforce. They're living off the government right now or whatnot. Yeah. And it's not good. I'm telling you, it's not good. It's not good to not have direction.
No, it's not.
Having a place to go every day or something to do, even if you work from home, get up and go into your office or do something. Having a mission every day is good for you. Yeah. We're human beings. We're not meant to be floating around aimlessly.
Well, I think Terry will agree with this too. It's healthy for you physically and mentally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's for the sake of both physical and mental health. Well, before we get too deep into any one of these subjects, I do want to mention something that Trey and I have been working on, and it's the Eddie Hill's Fun Cycles Hendren Media Solutions Toy Drive. And obviously, Eddie Hill's Fun Cycles, that's his business. Hendren Media Solutions is mine. And we started this toy drive last year, and this is the second annual toy drive. And so Trey has been working, he's been collaborating with some officials in the Wichita Falls ISD to identify some students in the district who truly have a need, who may not have anything under the tree this Christmas without some help. And so he's been collaborating with them and identifying some students who have a real honest to goodness need, and they have. and we're accepting donations of brand new unwrapped toys.
That's right. Yeah. Don't use something your dog's been chewing on. Please.
Yeah. Don't break out the teddy bear from the attic from 1978.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
Yeah, we don't need your little Chucky doll that's going to come alive and scare the hell out of somebody.
No, we don't do no Chucky. But a brand new unwrapped toy, you can drop that off at Eddie Hills Fun Cycles at 401 North Scott, downtown Wichita Falls.
Since 1966.
EddieHillsFunCycles.com. And you can do that Tuesday through Saturday. They're closed on Sunday and Monday.
That's right.
But you can drop it off Tuesday through Saturday. Or if you want, you could also drop off a donation of money.
That's right.
So if you don't want to go shop, you don't have the time to, or you don't want to mess with it, you could drop off a donation, cash or check, or you could do a credit card. You can even call the office and do a credit card over the phone, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You can call, and whoever answers the phone, just tell them I want to make a donation to the toy drive.
Yeah.
They can run your credit card right over the phone. By the way, we shred everybody's credit card number as soon as we use it. So, and then what we'll do is we'll take every penny that's put on that. Every penny goes toward toys.
That's right.
We're not taking one penny administrative fees. Mike Hendren and his group have donated a lot of wrapping paper. Eddie Hills Fun Cycles employees are doing all the wrapping.
Yeah.
We're going to do all the delivery, but not every penny that you donate,
right,
I promise you, will go to toys. That's it. And so we appreciate you doing that.
So even the fees, you're basically
we're eating the
absorbing
credit
the
card
fees.
fees. We're eating the credit card fees. Yep, every penny.
Yeah, that's right.
If you make a $50 donation, $50 of toys are purchased. Period.
Perfect.
Yeah, right. not $48.32 or whatever.
So
$50.
you can call 940-322
4121.
4121. 940-322-4121. Do a donation over the phone, or drop it by Eddie Hills Fun Cycles at 401 North Scott in downtown Wichita Falls, or drop off a toy if you like.
That's right. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Because we've identified we have more kids. We want to serve more kids. It was very successful last year. We've decided we're going to serve more kids this year. And by the way, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I bought the first $600 worth of toys.
You sure did.
So it's one of those deals. It's not like I'm just out here asking for people for donations and not doing it myself. I purchased the first $600 to get the ball rolling.
I've donated a few toys, and I need to donate more. I just haven't had time to go shop.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just give them a credit card.
There you go. Yeah, we'll do the shopping for you.
Do what you want to do.
Well, I have a really good lady that works for me who's a mom. So she's kind of tied in, and she has kids that range from elementary all the way through high school.
Oh, awesome.
So she's tied into what's going on and what's popular now, and she loves to shop, and she'd love to shop with your money.
So there we go.
So it's kind of the best of both worlds. She gets to go do the shopping and gets to buy toys and stuff like that, but it's not coming out of her pocket.
You know, it's been my experience that most of us guys, most of the women in our lives do like to shop with our money.
Be careful now. There's some women that make more money than the men. So
I know. Well, historically, mine's been one of them.
So you're spending her money.
Yeah, pretty. Yeah, actually,
right.
I am. Yeah. So anyway, but that's anyway.
You're gonna
so
get in trouble if she watches this.
She might watch it. I don't know.
That's the thing. The good thing is my wife wouldn't watch anything that I do, so
I
can say whatever I want. She'll never know.
I have been in trouble almost from the beginning of this marriage. So
well, but remember now, who edits this? I'm editing this.
That's true.
I can take clips and it might show up in the private message or something.
You never know.
I don't know where anonymous.
Yeah. Terry's kind of in control here on this deal. That's a little scary.
So, well, but anyway, so toys. Yeah. Gonna get some toys.
All righty.
All right. So anyway, we got a few things on the table to talk about today. Literally on a piece of paper on the table here. So anyway, I guess let's begin with Kyle Rittenhouse.
We've not. The three of us have not talked about it together.
We have not. Now, of course, a couple of weeks back, I guess 3 weeks ago, close to it, Rittenhouse was acquitted on 5 charges, including murder charges. And for those of you that, I don't know who hasn't followed this, because it's all the damn media has talked about for months now. Never mind the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. That there's nothing happening there, right? And we may bring that up too. But Rittenhouse was charged in the killing of 2 men and the wounding of a third during the riots in Kenosha.
Oh no, the peaceful protests. You know that's exactly the one where the guy was standing there with the building on fire behind him.
Yes.
The reporter and going, well, most of these people are peaceful out here.
Mostly
peaceful protest.
Yeah.
The building's on fire.
Yeah.
What a load of shit.
I'm telling you. I can't even. I have been a member of the media for decades now, and I have no defense for the stupidity that you're assaulted with in the media right now. I have no excuse for them. I won't even try to make excuses for them. It is sheer damned ignorance at work here. When you've got people in the media who will, you've just watched someone loot a store, steal, set it on fire, vandalize a police car, and you have the audacity to stand there and go, it's mostly peaceful. Shut up.
They're making excuses for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stealing for their children, but they're bringing a big screen TV out. You know, two of them are humping a big screen TV out.
They're just so frustrated. They're at the end of their rope. They're, or whatever.
It's stupid. You're not blind. You see what's happening in front of you, and you know the truth. This is the thing. When you're a member of the media and you know the truth, you see the facts, and you see the facts unfolding in front of you. Literally unfolding in front of you. When you stand there and deliberately make up some completely idiotic narrative about it, you look foolish, you look stupid. Yeah. That's what you look stupid to the rest of us when you do that. So stop lying to us.
Well, I think the good news for the Kyle Rittenhouse, what saved his bacon was there was a lot of video coverage.
That's right.
I mean, but to think that he went out to hunt and murder people when he's running away from them.
Exactly. And here's the thing about the video in the Kyle Rittenhouse.
I'm sorry, real quick. Have you ever seen anybody run away from a deer? A guy that goes out to hunt deer and he's running away from the damn deer in the forest. I mean, come on.
No, but I've been chased by a javelina.
Yeah.
No, here's the thing. The video in the Rittenhouse case has been out there all along, and there are members of the media who no doubt saw the very video that you saw played in the courtroom. There are members of the media who had already seen this video. Right. They already knew the truth. They already knew the facts. Yeah. They already knew that this one character, the one they said he vaporized his bicep. I think that's a little dramatic, but anyway. They'd already seen the video where this guy's literally standing over Kyle Rittenhouse with a handgun. He's got the gun leveled at Rittenhouse, and Rittenhouse fires.
Yeah. He's supposed to retreat.
Clearly,
he was supposed to back off because,
It's hard to retreat when you're flat on your ass. Yeah. Okay? They already knew that this was a case of self-defense. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And still, the media lied about it. They tried to make up this narrative that Rittenhouse was purely an aggressor, that he went out there and chased people down and shot them. And of course, as we all witnessed, that's not what happened.
Well, the prosecutors it was such a weak case. I watched quite a bit of the video, and I don't know where the prosecutors were pulling this from. Were they being pressured by the district attorney to do that? I mean, or what? I mean, was this?
Well, I'll tell you, the icing on the cake for me.
I don't know.
The icing on the cake for me is that damned prosecutor standing in the courtroom, picks up the AR-15.
Right.
Oh gosh, yes.
Points it at the jury.
Yeah.
Finger on the trigger, bolt forward, and points it at the jury.
Did they go?
Yeah.
It can't show
It'd be funny if one of them pulled something out and shot him.
It's
self-defense. Well,
it's
good thing Alec Baldwin wasn't in the jury.
Too soon.
Screw him.
He didn't pull the trigger. He didn't pull the trigger.
That's right.
Just
Alec Baldwin's
a
moron.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. That violated every single rule of firearm safety that has ever been written. And here's a little segue into the Baldwin thing. If the basic rules of firearm safety even one of those rules, as my friend Clay Kaler said the other day, if even one of those rules had been followed on that set, that woman would not have died. That gun would not have been discharged as it was.
Right.
Yeah.
That tragedy on that movie set would not have happened. If even one of those rules had been followed, that tragedy could have been completely avoided. And here you've got a prosecutor in a trial, a criminal freaking proceeding, pointing a rifle. Okay, somebody said, well, there was no magazine in it. I don't give a damn.
That's not the rule. That safety rules.
I never saw the guy clear it. Did you see the guy clear it?
No, he didn't clear it.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
He didn't.
You assume
You never know.
Hayden Sarala, my daddy, God rest his soul, taught me firearm safety from a very young age.
Yep.
And the very first thing he told me was, you assume every gun is loaded until you personally check it. Right. And every day, if I'm in a gun store, and they hand me a gun, I personally check it.
Well, they check it. They normally pull that out of the cabinet, check it, and then hand it to you, and you're going to check it again.
Even if I see them do it, I still do it myself, because my dad would roll over in his damn grave if I was to pull a gun out and not check to make sure it was it was loaded.
I've been in a couple of gun stores, and one recently in Louisiana where the weapons, they've got like on the semi-autos, they got the bolt back,
right?
And they got a cable tie in there,
yeah.
So they've got the bolt strapped back. So there's no way you could load this weapon. If you want to.
Yeah, you could just look at it.
Still,
you can see. So there's no need to cycle it or pull the bolt back or whatever. With a shotgun, you cycle the slide, pull it back and look to make sure it's empty. But for this prosecutor to do that, first of all, that demonstrated that, number one, he knew nothing about firearms.
No perspective.
Nothing.
He has the wrong perspective anyway.
Right, exactly.
But zero education when it comes to firearms.
Yep.
The guy didn't know a damn thing about guns. And second thing it demonstrated was his desperation. I think that move was that prosecutor going, oh hell, I'm losing this case.
Yeah. Dramatic, very dramatic.
I've got to do something to scare this jury to death so I can secure a prosecution. And I personally, this is speculation on my part, I know. I personally believe that was a desperate last-ditch move to try to shock that jury into prosecuting that young man.
Yeah. I agree.
Because they knew they'd lost the damn case. Trying to force a mistrial didn't work.
Right.
Because if he got a mistrial, he gets a redo. Didn't happen. Judge wasn't going for it. The judge, to the judge's credit, he recognized right away what the prosecutor was trying to do. Yeah. And so he wasn't going to let the mistrial go, wasn't going to let that happen. But that was a desperate move on the part of that prosecutor. I can't think of any other reason that you would think it's a good idea to pick up that weapon and point it at that jury.
Yeah.
What other excuse could you possibly have for that?
There's so many other things too. I mean, first off, the media was killing on it, and you could. That's one thing I do like about watching Fox. They'll go through the montage of the media and it's like they're reading from the same script. Cross state lines. Okay, we're in North Texas. Crossing state lines from Antioch, Illinois, to where he was there in Wisconsin is like going from Ranelette to Birkmanhead.
Yes.
Or from. I mean, literally, yes, you crossing state lines, but so what? And by the way, he did bring the gun across anyhow.
No, the gun was already in Wisconsin.
He crossed state lines. Yeah. He worked in Waukesha County, or they weren't in Waukesha. Waukesha's on the last thing. Where were they? Kenosha. He worked in Kenosha County. His dad lived in Kenosha. He had friends in Kenosha. I mean, he was a Kenosha kid. Yeah. Even though he lived in Antioch, Illinois, across the river.
Right. But the firearm was already in Wisconsin. He didn't bring it across. He lived 20 miles away.
And that's why they dropped that. That's why they dropped that charge.
Yeah. So, which would have been honestly that and the minor in possession charge. The minor in possession of a firearm.
And they're charging him as an adult though.
Yeah. So that was
exactly. The logic of that, we're going to charge you as an adult, but we'll give you the minor in possession. Yeah,
but that would have been, I think, the only charge that they could have legitimately prosecuted him on had they not charged him as an adult. Yeah. Other than that, they had nothing.
Yeah. Well, have you heard the latest though with as far as him being enrolled at Arizona State University?
No.
So he was apparently enrolled sometime between the the incident when it happened, and now he'd taken a few classes, I guess.
Yeah.
And then, but there's a big call for him for Arizona State University to get rid of him. And he's like, well, first of all, he's not enrolled right now. But Arizona State didn't really jump to. I mean, what is that? I mean, that's just wrong because people are trying to get rid of him. We don't want him at our school. Well, wait a minute. He was found not guilty.
He was acquitted.
And by the way, everything he's done is taking online classes. And by the way, wasn't it about a decade ago that Arizona State was considered the #1 party school in the country? And I'm not kidding. I'm being serious. They used to do this. Somebody used to do a thing, #1 party school, and Arizona State was. Yeah. So now, what happened to all those people?
Yeah.
What happened to all the party? We went from party on to we can't have that person here. I mean,
well, everything now is so soft. Everything now is so. Everything now is so.
Mike's hiding his booze there.
Yeah. Vodka? No, that's water. It really is water. Well, that's what I'm going to tell you it is. It's water. Anyway, everything now is so soft. You know, it's masculinity has become a poisonous thing in some circles. You shouldn't, and I'm not. And it's become unacceptable to be masculine or to be the party kid or to be to fun. I mean, come on, look what's happening in comedy. God, comedy is dead, man. It's just dead right now because you can't joke about anything anymore. Right. You can't because people get so easily offended by every damn thing. It's stupid. No one, we don't laugh at ourselves. We don't laugh at each other. We don't laugh at anything anymore because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Well, except for if you're a conservative.
Yeah, well, then
they'll tell you how terrible you are.
Yeah, that's right.
But
sometimes it's not laughter though. It's like there's some real attacks.
What I'm surprised we have not heard, and I know there've been some rumors on social media, and apparently they're not true, not yet. But I'm surprised we haven't heard more about defamation lawsuits, slander lawsuits.
He's considering that.
I guess. It's coming.
They're bound to be talking about it.
He and Nicholas Sandman are going to be sitting on a beach somewhere, sipping margaritas in a couple years.
No kidding.
Yeah, they're going to make a boatload off these people.
Oh yeah. I think Sandman already has.
I hope he sues Joe Biden.
You know, I wonder if he can. If there's
he might not be able to right now, but when Biden gets out of office, I don't know why he can't because I don't believe Biden was the president when he used Kyle Rittenhouse's likeness and slandered him.
That would have been during the campaign.
I believe that's right. I believe he was not the president. So, is he immune? We dealt with all this with Donald Trump. He did this before he was president, so he's not immune after he's president. We'll see what happens.
Okay, we'll see. Well, I'm kind of moving on here. It hurts my head to even talk about this. Jussie Smollett.
Kind of moving on.
Jussie Smollett. This guy wins the award for the biggest asshat of the century award right here. This guy. So for Jussie Smollett basically faked a hate crime, and I'm not totally sure why he did it. Was it just for the attention? Was his career? Was his 15 minutes of fame about to expire?
That's a speculation. That's speculation.
Here's the thing I think that's most insulting about Smollett. The people that really ought to be hurt the most and ought to feel the most hurt by Jussie Smollett are people who have actually been real victims of real racially motivated hate crimes.
Yeah. Right.
Because such things do happen, have happened. And if you've been a real victim, an actual victim of this, you ought to be pissed right now. You really should. Because this guy goes out here and actually apparently hired a couple of brothers or something to, rough him up a little or something. I don't know, or make it look like he was.
Yeah,
I guess they played the roles. They put on a MAGA hat or whatever. Come on, God Almighty. And this guy, if you've been the victim, a real victim of a genuine hate crime, and you've really been assaulted, you ought to be insulted by this guy. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
What does he come off doing this? This is stupid.
He's the reason we're talking about it is because he's in trial. I mean, this happened a couple of years ago.
Yes.
But he's actually on trial right now, and he's probably going to be found guilty on some of these charges.
I tell you, it's I think personally, if I'm on that jury, it's hard not to find this guy guilty of something because he clearly fabricated this mess. I know he's tried repeatedly to defend it. Now I think they've backed off totally trying to defend it.
Yeah.
Because now he's caught. He's caught. I mean, he's been caught in an outright lie and total fabrication.
Well, but here's the thing. When you do waste a bunch of taxpayer money on something that's completely false, you ought to pay.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying the person who thinks that maybe somebody's in their garage or something, they call the police, the little old lady. That's not a fabrication. That is somebody who's not sure, but so they call the police. I don't ever want somebody to feel like they can't call the police when they're not sure. Yeah. But if you completely fake it, you completely make the whole thing up, and you completely spend taxpayer money, your ass ought to be in trouble.
It took some time to create this story, this narrative, to set it up, to try to make it look legit.
To go buy the crap to do it.
Exactly. So there was thought put into planning this phony hate crime.
It was premeditated.
Premeditated, exactly. Yep. Exactly. So I hope the hell they throw the book at him on this deal. He deserves it. He really deserves it. Where do you guys want to go from here?
You tell me.
What do you think? Well,
you're steering the ship.
One of the things that we're talking about, the House Democrats' passage of their $1.75 trillion tax and spending plan. They're not done, right? They're not done.
No, they're trying to keep going. I mean,
this is the tip of the iceberg.
Right. Well, we'll see. We'll see how Sinema and Manchin hold up.
Well,
and by the way, I think there's more than Sinema and Manchin. I think the other people are kind of ducking and hiding behind those two. Yeah. Those two are out. I think there's other Democrats out there who are looking at this and going, this isn't a good idea. First off, they don't think it's a good idea because they're not leftists. They're just Democrats.
Right.
And secondly, they're looking down the road in a couple of years or next year's midterms.
Yeah. Well, okay, so here's the thing. I think Senator Manchin and Sinema, they're willing to stand in the front of the line and take the arrows.
Right.
They're taking the arrows right now, and they're willing to do that. I think you're right. I think there are some other Democrats that they're just right now they're just keeping their mouth shut. They're just being quiet about it. But let me tell you what I think is going to happen. You got a bunch of these Democrats that have gone. We've left liberalism in the dust ages ago. We are full on leftist in the Democratic Party now, with the exception of people like Manchin.
Yeah, there's some exceptions, but you're right. There's enough of them in there to at least make a statement.
Exactly, and I think what you're going to see happen next year is you're going to see a mad dash to cram as much garbage down your throat as they possibly can, because they know they're on borrowed time now. They know that right now, as we sit here in December of 2021, next November's midterms are going to be an absolute disaster for Democrats. Yep. They are going to lose, and they're going to lose big, and they know it. So, this is the thing. With the Democrats, they got a hammer and everything's a nail, Yeah. They are going to come after everything that they can. They're going to push as hard as they can because at this point they think they got nothing to lose. They're going to hammer everything they possibly can because at this point they think they have nothing to lose. They've already I'm trying to put myself, guys, in the mindset of a Democrat in that party right now.
Okay.
Which is, makes my head hurt, and it may give me diarrhea. I don't know, but they
not this dairy store. You don't.
But they've got to be thinking, what the hell? Let's go for broke. Yeah. I'm going to lose my ass anyway next November. Let's just go for broke. Let's try to do everything we can.
Yeah, because they know that it's harder to undo it once it's done.
That's right.
That is clearly what they're trying to get this all done in this first 2 years, so that then even if they do lose, then it's done.
Let me ask you guys as business owners, because I don't have them, but I'm the employee. But you guys have got employees that you're literally responsible for the livelihoods of other individuals. So your business, and both of you are in a retail business where you're dependent upon the willingness and the ability of the consumer public to walk in that door and plunk down some money or plunk down a credit card or whatever, or apply for credit and purchase from you, okay? How worried are you about the coming year when it comes to consumer sentiment, the ability of people to spend money? I mean, as honestly as you are willing to be with me here on the show, how concerned are you about the coming year? And because the fact of the matter is, these guys in Washington could still do some damage. Yeah. Crap runs downhill, guys. I mean, people have this. I think people have this tendency to think, well, that's D.C. That doesn't affect us in Wichita Falls, Texas. The hell it doesn't. It all runs downhill. So, how concerned are you as business owners that are dependent upon the consumer public?
What do you think, Terry?
Well, you have business customers as well, and at least in my world, even if prices, which it's inevitable that pricing is going up, just the whole the inflation thing.
We've already seen double-digit increases in almost everything.
But given that businesses are short on people, they need to become more efficient. They got to figure out some way to be able to do more with less, not because they don't want to hire people, but because there's nobody to hire.
They're just not there yet.
And so that's what I'm doing, even in our business, is trying to figure out what I can do, because it's become the top of the line, not because it's necessarily going to cost more. Yeah, it's probably going to cost more to hire somebody, but at the same time, I'm not as that's just sort of the way it's going to be. But if I could hire somebody, I'd much rather hire somebody. But if I can't, then I've got to look forward a little bit about becoming more efficient. And I think that's what other customers are going to do. So I think that that's going to benefit me in the sense that obviously technology is at the heart of so much of what we've seen in the last 20, 30, 40 years in terms of productivity. And look at restaurants. Up to now, restaurants have tested all of these kiosks and all that kind of stuff. Now they have to put them in there because they don't have anybody. In fact, there's a big push towards trying to make them, and you've talked about this, making locations more efficient in the sense that they're just a production line. People are going to order online and do so they're just going to be this. They're just going to have this small presence in facing public facing, right. And so I think that's what's going to happen is overall is that we've got to figure out better ways to do what we do now. And I think that's what our businesses are going to do. Is that clearly their business level hasn't stopped, so they're making the same money and probably making more margin, but they're working harder, so they got to figure out how to work less hard, and with that could be technology to help that. So I think that's going to be good, at least on the business side. Now the consumer side, I'm really not worried about it. We have a retail store, and I want our consumer customers come in and we can help them. We're just going to do the best job we can. Yeah. So I think that's not going to drop off a lot either. So I'm not really worried about it.
You do a lot of service work.
We have people need to fix their stuff fixed.
Or there's broken screen on their iPad or whatever. Trey, what say you, brother? What do you think?
I think our service side is going to stay strong because there's a lot of people that have the power sports out there.
Yep.
I agree with Terry on the business side because we service agricultural people. Yeah. And if you need a Kawasaki mule or Polaris Ranger or something to work on your farm and your ranch, then you need it.
Yeah.
My biggest concern, two things is one, supply.
Wow.
Yes.
Which that's been a huge problem with us. I mean, right now we have nothing on the floor you can't walk in. You can buy a little 4-wheeler or a go-kart right now. Probably after Christmas, I don't know they'll have those. You cannot walk in and buy a Polaris Ranger, a Yamaha Viking, a Kawasaki Mule. You just can't walk in and just buy one because they're not there. Right. And it's not just at my store; it's everywhere.
So the customer demand is there; the product's just not.
And that's it. But I do have a fear that with these increased inflation rates, that not the customer demand is going to go away, but the ability for the customer to do it is going to go away. Yeah. Kind of like you said, the business person, the people that are using these to make money, they need that.
Right.
But the disposable income thing, it's just like you were talking about, Terry, where what about the person who's got the iPhone who maybe want to upgrade this year but go, it still works. I think I'll hang on to it for another year. Yeah. And so I think that those are the people that's where that's going to affect our business. The people that would like to have something but don't have to have something, And so on that bigger ticket item, like an iPhone or a MacBook is a pretty big ticket item, or obviously a Polaris Ranger is a big ticket item.
Sure.
Things like that. I think there's going to be people that are going to pull back and hold back a little bit. So that's my concern.
Well, I've been talking to Terry about a computer. Okay, and at some point here in the very foreseeable future, I'm going to have to pull the trigger on something. I'm going to have to do something. But I also know that as a matter of just keeping the books balanced and managing the finances, I'm probably going to pull back on something else to make sure I can afford that.
Terry, be sure you sell them a 128 Commodore instead of a 64.
There you go. Yeah.
Come on, man, upgrade him.
That's right. Downloading at the speed of smell.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's something I know I need for my business, and I'm going to have to do in the very near future. But I'm probably going to pull back on something else to make sure I can afford to do that.
Yeah, the abacus isn't working anymore, right?
What's that?
Your abacus isn't working anymore.
My abacus it got rusty. I left it out in the rain, and the little wires are rusty now, and I can't see. It squeaks when I spin them. Anyway, but yeah, I think this is the thing. So much that happens at the political level can have either very positive or very negative impacts on the business.
A year and a half
level.
ago.
Exactly. We saw that demonstrated in full living color with this pandemic.
Yeah.
When you had local, county, state, and federal government out here screaming, oh, okay, you guys over here are not essential. You got to close your doors now. You're okay. You're cool. You can stay open. But you guys over here got to close your doors. You had the government selectively telling certain businesses
picking
they
winners
could
and
not,
losers. I said at the city council meeting.
Yes.
You can't pick winners. It's not the government's role to pick winners and losers.
They were so far out of their lane, it was ridiculous. And we cannot afford to ever let that happen again. We can't. As a society, not just business owners, as a society, we cannot afford to ever again allow the government to play that role of, as Trey just said, picking winners and losers. We can't let that happen again because we train wrecked an economy. Think about how the hell we were rocking and rolling, man, in mid-2020. Good grief, man. People were making money hand over fist. The economy was exploding. Everything was going great. And then, bam, we hit the brakes. And what happens when a train is barreling down the tracks at full speed and you lock those brakes up?
Yeah, it doesn't come to a screeching. It doesn't come to a soft, gentle halt.
No. You run the risk of derailing.
It turns itself. It turns itself inside out, basically.
That's right. You try to stop that momentum and you end up derailing things. And that's exactly what we did with this economy. We derailed it. We train wrecked it.
And we see it right now. Everything we are struggling with supply.
Yes.
The prices increase, people leaving their jobs and creating a shortage of workers. And I mean, all of this, there's nothing that we're dealing with right now that wasn't caused by that halt.
That's exactly
That's
okay. So Trey has compiled some of the numbers here. Let's run through these real quick if we can. So $1.75 trillion tax and spending plan.
Yeah. Then we have some real costs here. These are some sample real costs. They say it's going to cost one thing, but these are some real costs here.
Yeah.
And by the way, all this information is from the CBO.
Right. That's the Congressional Business Office.
Yeah, which is nonpartisan. They have people on both sides and all that.
Right. So we're looking at $367 billion added to the deficit over 10 years.
Right.
Now think about that, $367 billion. And I know we talk about stuff now in trillions of dollars when we're talking spending and national budgets. We talk in trillions of dollars, and no one can you can't wrap your head around $367 billion.
Let me, and I've used this example on the radio and on the podcast before, but I'm going to remind everybody. Let me put $1 trillion in perspective, because $1 trillion is so far out there we can't understand it.
Yeah, you can't do it.
1 million seconds ago was about 12 days ago. 1 billion seconds ago, George Bush, not W, HW, was in the White House.
Right.
1 trillion seconds ago, Neanderthal man was walking the earth. It was about 32,000 years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy.
So put that in perspective. From 1 million 12 days ago to $1 trillion 32,000 years ago.
This is the child tax credit cost. The child tax credit cost $1.13 trillion.
That's one thing, and that's one line item. And this thing has dozens. These are just a few little line items. There's dozens of line items on here.
Expanding Obamacare, $530 billion. Universal pre-K, $800 billion. Universal pre-K? So what? We want to start indoctrinating these kids at age 3 or instead of 4 or what?
Now I'm not saying they're spending the money right. I am very much in favor of early childhood education.
Yeah, but
we've seen the results. We've seen the results of in education. Now, I'm not saying that they're the ones to spend it this way, but I'm telling you, I think early childhood education is an important thing.
Trey, I think that needs to be up to the states individually.
I totally agree with you.
It needs to be up to the states. This is not.
I think the federal government should be completely out of the the education business.
If I had
100%.
If I had it my way, the U.S. Department of Education is shut down today, completely defunded, and everybody there is looking for another job.
Okay, here's what I would do. I wouldn't do it today because the problem is you got to scale that stuff down. What I would do is I would shut it down today, mothball it, and what I would do is grant block the states the money that they've already been every district in the country that's already getting federal dollars. Mm-hmm. You say we're for 3 more years we're going to fund you those federal dollars. We're not having no stipulations attached. You're just going to get those federal dollars. Yeah. But after 3 years you will no longer have that. Yeah. Because otherwise what you're going to do is if you shut it down right now all of a sudden now you have every school district got to get rid of teachers and personnel and staff, and it causes a lot of chaos at one time. Yeah. But I am in favor of early childhood education, but I'm not in favor of the federal government funding it. Yeah. So I just want to be clear about it. Yeah. Early childhood education, I've seen data. I've been involved with school districts and public school, and that's a good deal. But this is not the place to fund it and the way to fund it.
$4.9 trillion.
Yeah, that
real cost.
Yeah, that $1.75 trillion jumps up when you get all. These are just a few examples. When you get all that in there, $4.9 trillion. So how the hell do you go from 1.7 to 4.9? That is some fuzzy ass math.
Well, and we're not even done yet. They're talking about another $3.5 or $4.5 trillion package that's being worked on behind the scenes.
Well, isn't it the full budget though? Still has to be passed.
All they've done is
they did a budget. When's the last time they passed a budget?
Well, they just before we recorded this podcast, they were just about to vote on an emergency funding measure to keep the government from shutting down.
They passed that last night. Yeah,
they passed that last night.
Okay, so the president will sign off on that today. And so they'll Band-Aid it for another 30 days or 60 days or however long. Yeah. So now about 90 days. So they're going to Band-Aid it for another 90 days. But at the end of the day, they still got to figure out how the hell do you – and we don't have a revenue problem in this country when it comes to taxes.
There's a lot of money coming in.
A lot of money, but we have a spending problem. Yep. We have a serious spending problem. Here's how you can equate it. If you've got $10,000 a month coming into your household, and that's a lot of money.
I was going to say congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. But let's just round numbers. Say you got $10,000 in income coming into your household, but you're spending $20,000 a month. You're effectively bankrupt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, at some point, whatever you have in the bank will go away.
That's right. You start depleting savings. You suddenly wipe out your ability to save anything, and now you're bankrupt. But the government just keeps getting to spend. You've heard them talk about the debt ceiling. They keep raising the debt ceiling. And there is a serious movement in the Democratic Party right now. And there are even some Republicans, I am told, that are behind this idea of eliminating the debt ceiling.
So where there's no check, there's no balance, there's no checks and balances.
You can just spend for perpetuity.
There's hardly one now, but yeah, I mean everybody's just yes men.
At least they have to argue about it.
Now. Now
what you're talking about, if they eliminate, they won't even have to argue about it.
Right now there has to be a debate. There has to be a vote. There has to be some sort of reconciliation going on.
Have to allow it to happen, or it'll so go bad.
Trey, the new Forward Party.
Yeah,
the hell is this?
I just thought this was interesting, and I don't know if y'all want to talk about it on this one or if you want to talk about it the next podcast. It's Andrew Yang has come up with a new Forward Party. Yeah. And it's because it's not left, it's not right, it's forward. And I just found it a little comical. Some of the stuff, the first party platform, The party's number one platform includes an 18-year term limit for members of Congress. I think that's now. I was going to say, I think that's more than it needs to be, but at least I'm on board with somebody saying there needs to be a term limit.
Yeah.
Establishing a new cabinet level Department of Technology. I don't know what that means or what it's going to look for.
No, I think I can see that. That does make sense because they do need to have somebody who's focused on that, because that's becoming, as we've been seeing over this last year and a half in particular, is that all the security issues that we've had working from home and all that has actually opened up our infrastructure, our internet infrastructure, to a lot of hacking in that. So
I'm not against that, but in my opinion, before you open up something, you got to get rid of something. Get rid of the Department of Education.
There you go.
And whatever, and then do this. But right. I'm not against it. The problem is you end up with you get some hack like Anthony Fauci or something in there.
God.
And then who knows how good it's going to work. But anyhow.
Damn snake oil sales.
They call for an economy based on human-centered capitalism.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. And the enactment of basic income.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm against that.
Yeah.
There we go.
Advocates automatic tax filing.
No.
Which I don't know what that means.
What that means is they're going to have that access to your bank account.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No.
Reasonable and rational regulation of cryptocurrencies. Okay, what does that mean? And who decides what's reasonable and rational?
Yeah.
The Forward Party supports the implementation of universal health care system. Blech. Yeah. And the party's platform encourages states to adopt open primaries and implement ranked choice voting.
God.
Ranked choice voting.
Yeah, it's where you don't. It's where everybody just throws their name in the hat. I believe, if I'm correct on this, everybody throws their name in the hat, and you vote for everybody, and there's a ranking. You say I want. You list your top 5 or your top 3. I believe they do that in New York, in their state assembly. I
think they do. I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't have to win. You could be. I say there's 10 people that vote. I'm just throwing this number out there. If I'm right, and I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. You could win if you were ranked number 1 on 2 people's ballot, but you were ranked number 2 on everybody else's ballot. And then some people, but then some people were ranked number 1, and then some people were ranked number 3 or 4. Yeah, like a weighted.
Yeah. Wow.
We're voting on a bell curve.
That's stupid.
Right.
That's stupid. I'm sorry. That's just dumb.
Okay. Rank order them the order that you would rank, and then that sort of somehow. Okay.
They'll come up with an algorithm and say, okay, it's like Terry got 400,000 first place vote rankings, and he got 800,000 second place rankings, and he only got 100,000 third place rankings, and Mike got 500,000 first place rankings, but he got no second place rankings, and then he got 700,000 sixth place rankings, and you beat Mike. I don't know.
Well, isn't this how the colleges are ranked?
Yeah.
I mean, the college football.
The CFP. Yeah. You're right. I mean, they go out and
vote what order they think things ought to be in.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Well,
maybe we'll just turn over whoever's going to be the president to the CFP and in Congress.
Well,
right?
this whole thing about universal basic income, I want to come back to that for just one moment here. This is something that's been kicked around for years and years and years in Congress. Yeah. You've had several presidential candidates over the last probably 3 decades that have brought this up. It takes on a different name each time, but basically it's the same idea. Everybody gets a check every month from the taxpayers' coffers for some dollar amount. So universal basic income. So everybody's going to be guaranteed to get, I don't know, $1,000 a month, let's say. Okay? $1,000 a month. Even if you don't work, don't have a job, you don't have any other benefits.
Or you're a millionaire.
You're going to get a check for $1,000 a month guaranteed, period. Now, you think about this. When you start doing the math on it, that's a lot of damn money.
But
330-odd million people in the country, and everyone, man, woman, and child, is going to get a guaranteed check at the expense of the 50 or 49% of the people that are actually paying taxes.
Well, but and think about that. If the richest person and the poorest person still get this amount of money, then the rich person, what they're doing is they're paying the government this, whatever the $1,000 or whatever that amount is they actually get. It probably was $2,000 of their tax money gets cycled through and then provided back to them. And then, but on the low end, of course, we know that that's going to ultimately end up with that obviously they're not even contributing that much. And so they are the $1,000 he lost. Part of that was to go pay this person lower. And then even if they implemented that at the end, at some point they're going to run out of money. And then they go, well, we're just going to, the rich person, we're going to take their one. There's a way. We're just going to be back in the same boat.
It's a very socialist policy.
Here's the thing. All it's going to do is create inflation to where your spending power is not going to change.
That's right.
Everybody starts out with $12,000. Great. Guess what? Your spending power is going to be less $12,000 a year or less a year because it has to. You're just throwing money in there that's you're inflating. You're inflating the economy is what the word inflation means.
Right.
Yeah. You're artificially inflating the economy.
Right.
So your Big Mac that's like $3 now, whatever the hell it costs, I don't know, is going to be $4. But you're going to get a universal income. I think where Andrew Yang, I've heard him talk about this before. First off, I'm completely against it. The only thing I will give Andrew Yang is a lot of times he at least he gives rational ideas for stuff. Whether you agree or not.
Yeah.
He doesn't say you're a racist for asking me. I'll say that, about him.
Yeah, right.
But where I think where he was talking about was these big tech companies that like your Googles and your Facebooks that folks they're in the business of information.
Yeah.
And all they're doing is gathering information, and so what he's talking about is taking and taxing those people, basically making them pay for the information they're gathering from the public.
Okay.
I don't like that idea because my thoughts are the public, you cannot use Facebook and you cannot use Google and you cannot use whatever. You could choose not to if you don't want your information shared.
That's right. You have the power to control that. Totally.
And maybe and I think that'd be a good topic. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Because we ought to talk about I think we do need to talk about monopolies and that sort of thing. And I think that would be another topic.
We'll get that in another podcast. But, Margaret Thatcher, the late Prime Minister of Great Britain, said it best. The trouble with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money.
That's right.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happens. Mitt Romney, who I'm not a fan of, but Mitt Romney did say one thing that's totally correct. Remember back during the 2012 campaign when he and Paul Ryan were running, and he made the comment that you got 51% of the taxpayers or 51% of the citizens pay nothing in taxes.
Right.
The other 49% are propping everybody else up. And he was accurate in what he was saying. You've got a very large percentage of people in our country that may pay taxes in. They have a job, they're a W-2 employee, their boss is having to pull money out of their check and pay it in every quarter. But then come tax time, they end up getting a check back that's 3, 4, 5, 8, 10 times more than what they paid in. So in effect, they paid nothing. When you get more money back than you paid in, you've not contributed anything. Right. You no longer have any skin in the game because you've profited from the other taxpayers. So he was accurate in what he was saying.
They ought to call it unearned income. I think they call it earned income.
They do.
It ought to be called earned income because you didn't earn it.
No, you didn't. And so that's what's happening is people are getting paid infinitely more than they've put into it in some cases. I've heard people brag about, yeah, man, I got $16,000 back on my income tax. I got a $16,000 refund. No, you didn't get a $16,000 refund. You got my refund, baby.
Yeah.
That's what you got. You're welcome.
You got all your money back and some of mine.
Yeah. So exactly. Yeah, and most of mine. So But anyway, you mentioned Fauci briefly a moment ago. I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but Rand Paul was saying in an interview with Maria Bartiromo that he ought to get 5 years in jail for lying to Congress. And then you had, let's see.
By the way, are her lips getting bigger every year? I'm sorry. It's funny because if you see her little picture on her side, whatever mornings was, and I like her as a commentator. She's really good. Maria Bartiromo, and she's got a picture that's several years old. Yeah. And then they have the live shot, and her lips are like 27% bigger.
It could be Botox. I don't know.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Maria, you're a good commentator.
Maria.
Quit pumping those lips up.
we love you, Maria. Yeah. We do. We do.
You got the Nike pump. It.
Stop it.
Got to find that valve that,
bleed
valve.
Stop it. God. I just got this visual. Oh, well.
I wonder if she got a shredder valve on that. Anyhow, go ahead.
Stop, man. Oh, my God. That's bad. So, we've lost all control here.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Aren't you supposed to be the referee here or something?
Only if y'all start. No, I'll get out of the way.
You get under the damn table.
That's right.
And then you had, see, we're recording this podcast on a Friday. So yesterday, December the 2nd, you had Biden talking about a plan for this new version of the coronavirus. And then he starts making jokes about Fauci being the real president. Here's my problem with that, guys. And y'all tell me if you think I'm on the right track or not here. I am thoroughly convinced that our president is suffering from some form of dementia.
Something's going on upstairs.
One of the hallmarks of the disease, and I'm qualified to say this because I have personally witnessed it. I have been a caregiver for individuals with dementia in my own family. I know what I'm talking about. One of the hallmarks of the disease is sometimes you tend to say things that you might otherwise not say.
Your filtration system goes away.
You lose the filter. And so your brain will you'll just blurt it out, or you'll say something, or you'll make a statement, or maybe you'll use some language you wouldn't normally use, or whatever. But you'll say something that you normally would not say in a normal situation. And I got to wonder if that's not what the hell's going on with him. Because I'm still convinced that he's got an earwig or something in there, and they're trying to coach him up while he's behind the podium talking. And I think he's going off script more and more. And just blah, blah, blah.
Well, yesterday I saw something where he was talking about, and I believe it was the coronavirus thing, and he couldn't hardly get his words out. I mean, there was a period of time, and it's not funny, guys.
No, it's not.
This is not funny. People ha-ha about this. Isn't funny.
And I'm not making those statements trying to elicit a laugh out of anybody.
This is the leader of the. I know you're not. But there are people out there that joke about it. This is not a joke.
No, it's not.
This is a leader of the free fucking world. And he's losing it.
This is a guy who literally has his finger on the button. They used to talk about Trump and how dangerous it was Trump having his finger near the nuclear button. Biden does too, theoretically anyway. And like you say, this is the leader that we are the greatest country still in the free world. You don't get any better, bigger, badder than the United States of America. And there are parts of the world that are free right now, hello Europe, who wouldn't be.
Oh, absolutely.
Were it not for the United States.
It'd be you stepping and talking German.
Exactly. If the United States of America had not entered World War II, the world, and especially Western Europe, would not look the way it does today. Nothing in that part of the world would be the way it is today. Japan, China, Southeast Asia in general would not look the way it looks. It would not be the same today. Japan would not be a free, democratic, and Japan may be the freest, most democratic nation in that region of the world in terms of how they govern and how they operate and how the people live. It wouldn't be that way in Japan today had we not entered that war.
Yeah, oh yeah, the world's different.
We have led parts of the world to freedom, to safety, and so that I think yes, I'm patting ourselves on the back for it. You damn Skippy, I am. We are a great and exceptional nation, and for the President of the United States to be in the condition that he is clearly in, and being allowed to stand there and make statements like joking about little Tony Fauci being the President of the United States, that's damn scary, guys.
What humor, just to even joke about that?
Yeah.
even if he's in his right mind. So let's think about that. How would that even be funny? How would that?
Wouldn't be.
Yeah, what's funny? I see what you're saying.
I mean, this is serious business. You don't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some things you can kind of joke about, but him being the president, and then to add to it the fact that he does have some sort of thing going on.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I would argue if Trump had joked about stuff like that, even if Obama had done it, it would not have been received the same way. The media is deliberately overlooking, and then you got Jen Psaki up there,
Peppermint Patty,
trying to run interference
She's got
for
a
this guy.
Peppermint Patty haircut now.
Yeah, she does.
Oh, yeah.
And she's trying to run interference for this guy, and she's looking more and more foolish every time she does it, because God love him, Peter Ducey does a hell of a job of just pulling her out of it. And she absolutely ends up looking more and more foolish every time she has an exchange with Ducey. And she just keeps digging the hole deeper and deeper and deeper.
Peter Ducey's he's sharp. He's a sharp cookie.
He is.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Well, you know how he started? He's his dad.
His
of
dad
course,
is, yeah.
But he was just visiting as an intern.
He's an intern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Peter, and he's the White House correspondent for Fox News.
But
I mean, people could say, "Oh, he had it in." Yeah, okay, he did have a leg up to get it in. But he's done it all on his own. I mean, his daddy being Steve Ducey of Fox and Friends has not catapulted him to the White House correspondent for Fox News just on its own.
Yeah. Well, is there anything that we haven't?
You can do tech history. This week in tech history.
Yeah, we need to hit that.
While
and
you're
you
pulling
got some
that up,
birthdays.
I've got this way of birthdays.
Yes.
Yeah, I did not come as prepared as normal.
Well,
okay.
Pulling the technology out,
Yeah, that's right. Pulling the technology out. That's right. Okay. This is December 3rd.
Yeah.
So this week in birthdays, Mike's favorite rapper, Lil Baby, is 27 years old today. Mike.
Oh, okay.
So just so you know, I know you'll that way you can celebrate appropriately.
Not a clue.
Ozzy Osbourne is 73 years old today, and he's still sitting around going, "The dog pooped on the floor again."
Yeah.
Tiffany Haddish is 42 years old today, a pretty unfunny comedian, I should say.
I'm not familiar with her.
Like I said, she's a pretty unfunny comedian. Brendan Fraser is 53 years old today.
I know who that is.
Remember, he's an actor, and he was all over stuff for a while.
Yeah.
And he kind of disappeared about probably a dozen years ago.
Yeah. He did. He was Tarzan. Was that a Disney flick or something he did?
I think it was,
Tarzan and something else. And he just here in the last few years, he just kind of dropped totally off the radar.
Yeah.
He's how old?
53 years old today.
Didn't realize. Okay.
Tomorrow, Jay-Z will be 51 years old this week.
Sadly, I know who that is.
Tyra Banks is 47 years old today.
I know who that is.
Or this week.
She was a talk show host for a while, wasn't she? She was a model.
She's a model. She started as a model, but yeah, she's done some talk show hosts. She hosted like America's Got Talent for a couple of years.
Did she?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Let's see here.
I thought she had like one of those afternoon talk shows like Oprah or something.
She probably did. One time everybody did.
Yeah.
Marissa Tomei is 56 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. Marissa Tomei, she's an actress. My Cousin Vinny was probably her best role.
Yes.
But she's been in a lot of movies. I'll tell you where she got her start, though. Do you remember where she got her start?
I'm trying to reach back and think here.
It was the spinoff of The Cosby Show when
A Different World.
Yeah, when Denise went to college.
Yes.
She was the white lady. She went to a black college, but she was the white girl at the black college.
She was the Italian girl.
Yeah.
Have you ever Terry? Have you ever seen My Cousin Vinny?
Yeah, but I don't remember much.
She's the wife.
Ago.
Yeah,
she's the wife.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good movie. You need to go back and rewatch that one.
Okay.
Jeff Bridges is 71 years old today, this week.
Wow.
Isn't he a kind of a conservative kind?
Jeff Bridges?
Yeah. Wasn't he I don't know. There's something.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Of course, a conservative in Hollywood means that you're a raving liberal.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see here. Fred Armisen is 54 years old. Fred Armisen was a very talented sketch comedy guy. He was on Saturday Night Live. He's been on a lot of stuff, and he's a very talented.
Yeah.
Real quick here, Walt Disney was born this week in 1901. He died in 1966. Of course, Mickey Mouse's first name was
Mickey.
Steamboat Willie.
Willie.
Oh, was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Steamboat Willie. Frankie Munoz is 35 years old today. He was on Boy Meets World or one of those. He was an actor on. What was he on?
So
Malcolm in the Middle. Malcolm in the Middle. He was. I knew he was a child star.
Yeah, it does. Had a child actor. Yeah.
Yep. Little Richard was born in this day in 1932.
Wow.
Died in 2020.
Good golly, Miss Molly.
Absolutely. Let's see here, real quick. I know it was Martin Van Buren was born on this day, this week in 1782.
I was going to say.
Died in 1862. He was one of our presidents. He was either one of y'all know which president he was?
Martin Van Buren?
Martin Van Buren.
Number 9.
Number 8. Number 8. So,
close.
I'll do a better job. I stumble around on them. I'll do a better job when I have them written down. So I kind of failed this week. Yeah. Sorry. Hey, I brought this stuff in.
Yeah.
You did.
I did contribute.
You're forgiven.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
And we were able to hit everything on it too. So all right.
Yeah, I know you were. All right. Well, how about this?
All right.
My
do
list.
it. All right. Let's do it.
This week in tech history.
See.
So, November 27th of what year was Internet Explorer 2.0 shipped? Now, the reason that 2.0 is significant, just so you know, was that originally Bill Gates wasn't on board with this internet thing.
Oh,
it's not
it's a fad.
Right, and
It's a fad.
so he knew the internet had to be there, so he had Internet Explorer 1.0. But anyway, so it was nearly 6 months to the day after Bill Gates made that memo saying, the internet's not going anywhere. And only 3 months after releasing 1.0, they came up with 2.0. So he rethought his statement there. Yeah. So anyway, November 27th of what year?
Trey, you want to go first?
Let's go 1994.
96.
95.
Because right in the middle.
Windows 95 was included.
Okay.
So, all right. Now here's a good one. So in November 28th of what year did Polaroid come out with the Land Camera Model 95? This was the first instant camera.
Okay, I didn't know what the land camera.
Right, it was the first instant camera, and it didn't shoot it out, but it was you had a little thing of film, and you pulled it out, and it was sepia, that brown kind of color.
Did you have to shake it?
I don't know if you had to shake it. I imagine you.
Remember, you used to have to shake the Polaroid picture.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, what year? November 28th of what year was the land camera?
1948.
Oh, I'm going to say 1962.
1948. Actually.
Wow.
Boom.
So and what's interesting is just in time for the Christmas shopping season, 57 units were built, and they were sent to the Jordan Marsh department store in Boston, and they sold out of the film and the cameras that first day.
That would be the Jordan Marsh department store because it was Boston.
November 29th of what year did Atari introduce the Pong video game?
1977.
73.
1972.
Oh, wow.
So it was the first commercially
Missed it
successful
by that much.
I remember my dad came home with Pong when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. You hooked it up to your TV. It had 2 sliders that were about this long, and it had a remote. They were the remotes, and it had a long cord so you could go sit back on your couch and play it. And it had 3 games. It had Pong, it had tennis, which was Pong, and then it had wall ball or something like that, handball, which was Pong with one person.
That's right.
It was the same thing.
3 games, but
it was a stick. And a little square ball that bounced through the air. That's all it was.
Trey, I still have an Atari 2600 system.
Oh, wow.
Still have one. Haven't plugged it in years and years and years. And I still have the Pong game cartridge. Remember the cartridges you plugged in the front?
The ones you had to go.
Yeah.
Had to blow them out.
Yeah. I still got Pong. I still got Pac-Man, and I think I still have an Asteroids cartridge too.
Wow.
Pretty sure I do.
Asteroids, great graphics.
Oh yeah.
It was a fun game though. But you look back and go, "Ugh."
You look at the label, and then you play the game, and you're like, still look a damn thing like the label.
Well, hey, you know what's cool is they make, for those who may have heard of this, called Raspberry Pi. It's a little single board computer, and there's a software update or an install or whatever you want to call it. It's a version of Linux for games, and they've got all the classic games available.
Right.
And you can put that on your TV and get a controller and do that.
Well, they make these little mini versions of Atari and
Sega.
Nintendo and Sega that have all the games. Well,
I have an Atari one.
Do you?
A little mini version. Yeah. I bought it, plugged it in, thought this will be really cool. I used it about 4 times and went, nah.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a game. It was cool when I was a kid.
Yeah.
All right. November 30th of what year did Barnes & Noble release the Nook? That was their answer to the Kindle.
Kindle,
the
yeah.
Amazon Kindle, which was a couple of years before that.
Your turn.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Well,
97.
94.
2009. So it
Holy
means
crap.
2007 was the other. So have you ever heard of the Project Gutenberg?
Way off.
No.
Okay, so when this project was started, the idea was to try and document in a digital form all of the world's works of art, in the literary works of art. And so so this was started to collect all that. So it's December 1st.
Assuming to be named after the Gutenberg Bible.
Right, or the Gutenberg Press, or what? Right. So, so what was the December 1st of what year do you think that they started that project?
2001.
I'm going to go way early on this. 1972.
1971. So. Yeah,
Wow.
so basically, this was back in the days of ARPANET and all of that. This researcher decided that he was going to start this. Michael Hart, founder of what is now known as the Project Gutenberg, launched the project by making his first posting, the Declaration of Independence. So
cool.
just taking it, and now Google has a big project going on. They're scanning all books in some way.
Yeah.
I don't know how that copyright-wise works, but anyway.
No, they just own them all.
So December 1st of what year did AOL go unlimited on their plan?
Oh, God.
Instead of paying $9.95 for 5 hours of usage per month, they went to $19.95 for quote unlimited.
You've got mail.
Yeah. So
You're up, I think.
Let's say 1996.
I'll go 95.
96.
Finally got
it.
one.
All right.
Targeted.
And so November 1st of what year was there's a domain name called business.com. Remember all the people are buying up all these domain names? Well, it sold at the time. So what year was it that was sold for $7.5 million, which at the time was the most expensive domain ever sold. It's in the top 10 even today.
Cheers.
I'll go with 1994.
97.
1999.
Oh.
And let's see. December 2nd of what year did Apple release QuickTime, which is really we that's even on the Windows side. Basically, it's the technology that allows it became a standard way of playing videos and that kind of stuff. So it eventually ended up on the Windows side as well. So what December 2nd of what year do you think that was introduced to the world by Apple?
93.
2010.
1991. And finally, December 3rd of what year did we get to see for the first time the Segway?
The Segway, that would have been...
Oh, the thing you ride.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was going to transform the way Americans moved. You remember all that?
Yeah.
Let's say 2001.
I'll go with 2004.
2001. He's got 2 of them now.
Oh.
Now,
Yeah, but I'm way off. It's like I either get them, I'm way the hell off.
That's me.
so
I'm, decades
now,
away.
They didn't
right
mention
there.
it here, but did the Segway, he get killed on a Segway?
I think so. I think you're right. The founder did.
Died. Let's see what A millionaire businessman fell from a cliff while riding his Segway scooter. Well, maybe not. Segway boss. Yeah, I guess he was something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jim Heidelson, her Hesseled, and dies in scooter fall off. So
it doesn't help the marketing department one bit.
No, it doesn't. So there you go. But anyway, so there you go.
But that's all, folks. On that.
All right, guys, we'll wrap it up here. It's been great being with you. We appreciate you being with us. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this, share it with everybody you know, tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Hopefully they don't hate you for it. And we'll be back with another episode of Get It Right with Mike, Trey, and Terry very soon. Until then, God bless you. We'll see you down the road, kids.